Hello everyone, my name is Guillaume Pigé. I'm the Artistic Director of Theatre Re. We are a UK-based visual theatre company. We make very physical work with original live music about taboo and intimate subject matters.
So can you pick up 3 things to put in your toolbox of creation?
I think for me, it's about finding the right team. I think the way we work at Theatre Re is very collaborative, and the people that you have in the team is really important. Something that we always have when we start a project is a leading question, something that we don't have the answer to. A very specific but also very open question is very important. Third thing that I would choose is an object, something around which our world is going to rotate, as if that object was to become, the focal point of the exploration. However, this is how I've been working over the past 14 years, and maybe it's time to challenge that.
Talking about teams, so can you just briefly tell us about you and your team?
There's Alex Judd, he's our composer and musician, and Catherine Graham, our lighting designer. And so the three of us are the core team. And around that core team, for each production, we sort of gather different experts. We also, within the team, we also try to bring in people that are not connected with the arts. Scientists, public health professionals, philosophers, or just members from the community. And that's our team. And then we get stuck together, and then we make a show.
Yeah. So we're quite curious about, because your works often address socially engaged themes. So where do they usually originate from?
They emerge from the work. For instance, for The Nature of Forgetting, which we've performed in Shanghai a few years ago, the question at the start of the project was, what is eternal? What is eternal? What will always be true? What was true yesterday? What will be true tomorrow? And little by little, as we're working on that, it became what is left when memory is gone. And so obviously the world of memory comes into place. How do we remember? What happens in the brain when you remember? In order to find answers to these questions, you need to ask the experts. Then, since we're looking at the world of memory from the scientific standpoint, then you also need to check what's happening in the real human experience. So then we worked with memory groups, with the Alzheimer's Society, with Dementia UK, for Birth, which is the show that we're taking to Shanghai next month. The question was, when does memory begin? So still linked, it was the follow-up show from The Nature of Forgetting. So when does memory begin? What are we all born with without even realizing it? And so in order to study that question, we looked at the world of psychogenealogy, and it's about how you can trace back and sort of resolve or deal with your traumas by looking at your family tree. So as you can see, we never decide on a theme. We sort of allow the question to lead us, and the play in the room to lead us towards an element of research.
Could you introduce more about your piece Birth? Because we know you're coming to China with that piece. Because I didn't get a chance to watch it, so from what I know, that's about 3 females from different generations.
Yeah, a grandmother, a mother, and a daughter. And Emily, the daughter, is pregnant. She's 8 months pregnant, and she discovers the journal of her grandmother. And in that journal, there's a secret that no one ever talked about. And the discovery of that secret will change her world. So it's also about families. It's about intergenerational families, intergenerational secrets. It's about love. It's about life. It's about the loss of life. It's about grief. And yeah, it's about connection. It's about how we can come together in moments of pain and carry on.
Are there any memorable moments during the process? You want to know more about details?
For Birth, we're looking at memory from the beginning. What is it that we all start with without even realizing it? What is it that we are, inheriting from our parents and grandparents and past generations without even us knowing it? So then from that point of view, we started with that question. I gathered the team, and then the objects that we brought in the room were a large piece of material, and the idea of the sheet flying over. And what was very interesting with the sheet is that, first of all, it's beautiful. The sheet flying I could watch that for hours. And so the challenge for us was to find, what is the metaphor? What is the metaphor? What is it? How can we use it in a way that is accessible? So it's not just a beautiful thing, but how can it find, you were talking about the grounding earlier. How can we ground it in the real world? And in terms of the development, sort of look at who's in the room and then build from their experiences and little by little transform these experiences so it becomes a story that belongs to everyone, but it's not anyone's story.
How experience to you in general last time in China?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it's always really lovely to have we feel very privileged, to be able to travel halfway across the world and then do our shows. It's great, it's amazing to be to be asked to do it. It was really lovely, especially in Shanghai, to sort of meet the audience after the show. And it's really touching because people try to speak English with us because obviously our Mandarin is non-existent. So it's really beautiful to sort of perform the show for an hour and 15, and then come out and to hear the response. You know, how something that we've made that was very specific, you know, to the UK, to the very Western, can actually touch people that are culturally very different from who we are. And it's beautiful because it means that, you know, we might be, you know, in different cultures, different countries, but actually we're all humans. And I think that's why we make work. We make work because we want to sort of remind people of that and sort of bring that back to the forefront. And I think there's a world where we can bring people together through empathy. And it's really exciting to also be going back with Theatre Young because, you know, they were our first venue in China, in mainland China. I hope that some of the people that came to see us with The Nature of Forgetting will come back and see what else we've got. So they can see the progression of the company through the various pieces. And I think it's quite exciting to sort of build a relationship. We're hoping this year to also be able to offer some workshops for performers in Shanghai, for teachers, for local artists. So hopefully we can also, you know, build some bridges there.
I want to know more about your workshop, about like the aims of your workshop and the role of collaboration with musicians.
First of all, it's about refining, refreshing, further developing, researching, and, you know, making sure that we're progressing in the development of our craft. Within a workshop setting, it's as if you were going back to study. There is also an element of passing on what we're discovering, and hopefully will inspire people, and then they will take what we're giving them further, in the same way that what we've received from, you know, previous masters. So I think there's definitely the idea of passing on and seeing where is this taking people, which is really exciting. It's also an opportunity for us to meet new people, to meet new performers. So that's really exciting. It means that we share a common vocabulary. And not only I connect with their imagination, but they connect to ours as well. What was the rest of the question?
The live music.
That's how we work. When we collaborate, all the collaborators are in the room from the get-go. So it's about responding. It's about being able to listen and respond in the same way that if we were doing a scene together, if you were going to make a physical offer, I would need to be able to see it, and I would need to be able to respond to it. And that's really difficult, to listen and to respond. Usually actors, they just want to do things.
So we know that your company has sustained for over 16 years, right?
14
years. Still with ongoing tour and productions. So we would like to know what advice would you give to the current, fresh and emerging artists and theatre makers?
In what way? Because I guess it depends what they want to achieve. You know.
Yes.
I mean, I can give advice, but
like
it depends what you want.
Be creative is freedom, but also have the financial ability. Is that possible to have the same thing the two things at the same time?
Yes, I think it's possible, but I don't think it's possible if you think about it. So when we make work, we try to forget that time exists. We try to not be efficient. The moment you're thinking, I need to be efficient, this needs to make money, this needs to do this needs to do that, it's probably a recipe for disaster, I think. From my personal point of view, you need to be willing to waste a lot of time and to not be efficient and just play for the sake of playing. Just like children are playing and they forget that time exists. You know, they could play, they invent things all the time. From my personal point of view, if you try to be efficient, if you say, right, good, we've got 6 weeks, we have to make a show, and this needs to be a success, because otherwise we die, you're probably not going to make it. You're probably not going to make it because you're focused on the outcome, and you'll just do that, as opposed to everything else.
I find it pretty hard to find a balance between the reality concerns and just freedom to play.
It's the hardest thing. It's the hardest thing because at the end of the day, you know, we all need to live, we all need to survive, and so to pretend is just really hard. I think it's a muscle. It's a muscle, and even though you don't want to be efficient, you also need to little by little develop that muscle that will guide you quicker to play. Well, that's why we train people. That's the muscle that is being trained. I think a lot of people can be fantastic devisers, fantastic performers. You know, under the blanket at midnight, we're all fantastic.
Yeah.
But can you do it at 9 a.m. every day for 6 months? I think I think that's where the difficulty lies.
Or the questions.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you in Shanghai. My name is Guillaume Pigé. I'm the artistic director of Theatre Re. We are absolutely thrilled to be bringing our show Birth to Theatre Young in mid-May, so next month. We have been to Theatre Young before with The Nature of Forgetting, and so hopefully we'll see you there. Thank you.